Hey, yo, 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 when the wicked cup of cocoa. This is your man's BKB, Bob and Arlie Blue Shay official. I'm just chiming in today, this March 20th, 2018, to say happy springtime to you and, happy astrological new year. Got to reset your zodiac calendars and things. So I wanted to kind of just chime in a little bit, just throw a little something on the social media thingy and, just kind of like, vent a little bit since I've been brainstorming. Like there's never a time that I am not, because I always am. But I was thinking about, just the seasons and how we transition with the seasons and, you know, nature, it has its own unique way of interacting with the time, of the year. So, when spring comes around, the trees and the grass and bushes and shit like that knows that it's time to turn green, motherfucker. It's time to start budding out, kind of like, just stretching out, stretching your arms, legs and things, it's time to do spring cleaning, just kind of like clear out a lot of old dust. And, and I feel that, they call it spring cleaning. And this is like really the official new year, like when the seasons reset. So the whole Gregorian thing with the January 1st new year, that's something that was invented for its own reasons, but I digress. I really just wanted to touch on this because, it's very unique how the seasons are, and you can stare at an apple tree and you can pretty much almost count down to the second when that tree's going to start budding out some apples, and you can pretty much count to the second when the apples, after being fully grown, going to start falling out and getting plucked out the tree. So it's like a cycle, and we understand nature this way. But I know one thing that's unique to nature that is not really unique to us, or, shouldn't be as unique to us as it is the fact that, nature, besides the weather, there's really nothing about nature that changes up too much. It pretty much adapts to the circumstances, but an apple tree is not going to turn around and make oranges the next year and then make lemons and then make some like nectarines and things. I'm just saying, like, it's going to always make apples. That's all it knows. That's what it's supposed to do. But, but using that as a comparison to us, as people, who can walk and talk and, like we have a consciousness and we can do things and move around, arm, leg, arm, head, we have capabilities of changing even more with the seasons. And the thought that came to my mind was, I was thinking about, those who have had very prominent jobs and positions in their lifetime and then passed on. You look at like your entertainers such as your Michael Jacksons and your James Browns and several artists, actors and actresses and sports figures, politicians and things, who have passed on, who have left legacies behind and have since passed on, due to old age or poor health or whatever. But they have legacies that they left behind and they're known for their worth. I know in St. Louis, they have they just commemorated that one lady, Miss Freeman, who was a civil rights attorney who fought for a lot of people stuff during the civil rights movement. And she was commemorated with a statue, and it depicted her pretty much in her attorney garb, so to say, And I was like, that's cool. It's cool, because it just kind of like, it gives a timestamp of approval of sorts, from the people, like that's a job well done. She did her service. But still, the question that came to my head was, now, if any of these people that have passed on, if they were able to come back, I mean, not come back as being resurrected, like with the same name. I mean, no. I mean, like not being, reincarnated in the sense of, where they take on new names and identifications and things like that. But what if they're able to come back and be, and just be alive again and be the people, who they used to be and continue doing those things that they used to do. Like if they were capable of doing that, would they still want to do that after experiencing the other side and then coming back? Like, do priorities change, or do you decide to do something different or learn something new? Now, this was almost like a metaphor to the point that I wanted to make about how it's important to constantly want to be reborn in and of ourselves by, wanting to renew ourselves and learning something new. Just as the seasons, they relearn their processes throughout the seasons. They do what they're doing. They're pretty much relearning themselves. They're doing the same thing, but, if it might be a different year or a different kind of weather, it might be done in a slightly different way, depending on the trees and the adaptability of our vegetation and sorts, and crops and things. So, but with us people, though, how we put so much importance on our everyday doings and beings. And, and that's pretty much the do all be all, the grand finale. And, you get to that point where you're being remembered and memoriamed, however you say it, just memorialized. And you're able to see yourself from the other side and see what you were not able to see from that standpoint. Like when we ascend, like we see more, just because, we are just exposed to that much more. We see the secrets to it all. Like we're exposed to it because why wouldn't we be anyways? Because we're already beyond what is physical and what is seen as moral and ethical and, as good and bad and ugly and right and wrong and all of that. Like we ascend above that enough to see what it's worth. So if we're able to come back and retake that positioning, that essence that we were before passing away, would we do the same shit that we were doing if we are exposed to more of what there is out there, just in general? I feel it's a question to pose, because that's how I feel. In like, I don't feel like there are things that I like to do, but the thing is, even though that these things might be done on a year in, year out basis, they're always done differently. And that I can always do a comparison and a contrast to things that I've done similar to anything new that I do or learn or talk about, discover, or whatever. Or, just that's just how discovery is supposed to work. So, just think about it. Like, my grandpa, he passed away 4 years ago today, and like he was blind here. So it's like, I don't think that he would want to come back and be totally blind from, like inside out, outside in, mentality wise and everything. I don't think he would want to do that if he knows that he's able to see at higher degrees than what he was in his physical form, like able to come back and knowing what he has seen, be able to learn more and just do more with himself. So it's almost like we have to do that same thing, like kind of like have mini deaths within ourselves where we just learn to let go of stuff, as we continue to learn and relearn things going with the season. So with that said, I want to welcome you into a happy spring 2018. We about to get it cracking. I have some other announcements coming up, but they'll come to you eventually. But for now, I'm going to just go ahead and sign out. Hope y'all have a pleasant day. BKB over and out.